Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Read and Reread. I am Angelia, and today I have a little book haul I want to share with you. I think I fixed my height problem. I have a lifelong height problem, but for the video, it looked like I was sitting down in a hole, and I realized I was a pillow short that I usually sit in this chair to get it right. It was tragically mistaken for a chew toy the other day, and I rescued the inside of the pillow, but I need to get a new cover for it. But yeah. Anyway, Wilkie is out in the studio with Steven right now, so I'm going to try to film this video while it is peaceful in the library. He's doing great. He's living his best puppy life. But I have some new books I want to talk to you about today. And of course, if I bought the book, I'm excited about the book. But then I try to arrange this pile into sort of an excitement sandwich and put at the beginning and the end maybe the best of the pile or the ones I'm most anticipating. And what's kind of fun is this is kind of a shorty pile too. Of course, I'm not going to read all these this month because I'm snowed. I outdid myself with overscheduling this month. Too many events, and then I didn't know we were going to take on a puppy project, so I'm going to call it now that I am not going to make it through all the things I said I was going to read this month. But we do have some really exciting books. I didn't plan for them all to be short. It just kind of turned out that way, except one that kind of makes up for all the shortness of the rest, which you will see at the end. You can let me know if you have read these or have thought about these or have anything to contribute about any of these. So the first one, it's always exciting when someone you know has their work published. And just a few days ago in the mail, I got a debut novel by my friend Joe O'Malley. It is Starlight and Moonshine. You might know Joe from a literature group, a Discord group. You might know Joe as Too Tight Lautrec, his drag persona. And if you have not watched some of the videos of Too Tight Lautrec studying the Shakespearean sonnets, or more recently, obscure Pulitzer authors, then you are missing out on a literary fabulosity that you need to correct as soon as possible. Joe previously published a collection of short stories that I need to go ahead and get my hands on, but this is his first novel. And first of all, I love this format. It's a beautiful hardcover, and you can see it looks like broken glass, and it is a book that starts with a fatal car incident. I think it looks like part of the broken glass looks like a martini glass there too, and I don't think that's an accident. Here's the synopsis of the book. During a Detroit winter's final snowfall in 1980, feeling fine after a few too many drinks, Hannah Fallon crashes her car through a cyclone fence and into an elm tree, leaving behind a messy wake of love and grief through which her family must wade in the year following her death. The story of the Fallon family, told in retrograde, beginning a year out from Hannah's death, through the family members' varying viewpoints, explores the humor, love, and rancor of a family grappling to keep their tight-knit bonds from unraveling. This elegy of family life under siege, written with Cheeveresque wit, clarity, and intensity, fulfills the promise of a long-awaited first novel. All right. If I just picked this up randomly in a bookstore, I would already be hooked on that. This terrible event, and then the family grieving and processing and moving on with their life in various ways. I think it moves around through points of view, and I love that as well. If this also sounds good to you, scurry to your local bookstore or bookshop.org or wherever you get your new releases, because I am really looking forward to reading this. I could not be more excited for Joe on the publication of this novel, and for me for getting to read it as soon as possible. The next one is, I'm not going to say the Booker list made me do it, but the book was brought to my attention because it is on the Booker long list. But it's the reviews of the book that made me do it. And I have to say that this year, the Booker committee and we don't vibe that well. Most of the books are not really calling to me, or even usually it starts out the list. Some of them sound interesting and some not so much. And then it shifts around as people talk about them. And some of the ones I overlooked move up, and some of the ones that I thought sounded great move down because the reviews aren't that great. And this year, everything was kind of, and then it just kind of stayed that way. Like the ones that I thought, well, let me wait and see what people say, they didn't have that great of things to say. But I did get Seascraper by Benjamin Wood. You were sitting there thinking, is she ever going to get to what the book is? The strength of the reviews that I've heard, both on Booktube and just other readers that I know that I've been talking to. By the way, in my science fiction double feature Discord, there's a hidden, it's not hidden, but it's a Booker section. There's a Booker chat section that just kind of happened. And so it has nothing to do with the science fiction selections, but there's a Booker conversation. So if you want to chit chat on Discord about Booker books, whether or not you want to read the science fiction books, you can come on in. I'll put the link again. And while you're there, maybe you'll accidentally decide to read some science fiction too. But anyway, there were some glowing reviews from readers that I share a lot of taste with. And so I bought Seascraper. It's very short. It's wafer thin. And it just sounds like a beautiful story. Everything I've heard about it sounds like my kind of thing. And so I'm going to try to read this kind of soonish, within the Booker realm. But I don't know for sure that I'm actually going to hit it this month, even though it's a shorty, because I'm kind of up to here with things I said I was going to read. But I want to read it really soon. It has a really, I don't know if I like this cover. I had to have it, and the price was pretty good. So I ordered it. This is the thing about Blackwell's. Free shipping to the US, and a lot of times they beat the price of that same book when it is available in the US. And then also sometimes I just can't wait for those books that come out in the UK, and it's going to be months before they come out in the US. And sometimes I just like the cover better. So for those reasons, I like to order from Blackwell's, and they've been very reliable. Okay, anyway, Thomas lives a slow, deliberate life with his mother in Long Ferry, working his grandpa's trade as a shanker. What is that? I mean, it sounds bad. Okay, never mind. I got a bad mind. He rises early to take his horse and cart to the gray, gloomy beach and scrape for shrimp, spending the afternoon selling his wares, trying to wash away the salt and scum, pining for Joan Wyeth down the street, and rehearsing songs on his guitar. At heart, he is a folk musician, but it remains a private dream. And I have heard that the author has a song that accompanies this book, and I need to find that. Maybe it's on YouTube. When a striking visitor turns up bringing the promise of Hollywood glamour, Thomas is shaken from the drudgery of his days, begins to see a different future. But how much of what the American claims is true, and how far can his inspiration carry Thomas? All right, and I don't know what the time setting is of this book, but it is apparently kind of a very quiet gems type of vibe. And he has some other books, so if I love this, I can go backwards and look at some of his previous publications. Let me know if you've read any books by Benjamin Wood. All right, the next book is kind of silly that I've already bought this book because I just started reading its predecessor. But I did get On the Calculation of Volume 2. I just started, like yesterday, On the Calculation of Volume 1. But this is another, Booktube friends made me do it because so many people talked about, well, I'm on 2 and I'm on book 3 and it gets really good. It's even better after the first one. And I just got all excited and I bought the second book. So this is the series that's going to be 7 books. And it has to do with a woman who wakes up on November 18th, goes through her day, goes to bed, and when she gets up on the next day, it's November 18th again. Only she can do different things or see that the day is going over and over. Everyone else is having their exact same day, and she is the only one who knows that the day is stuck and just happening again and again. She and her husband are antiquarian booksellers. And so she goes to this auction on the 18th, and she goes through this whole day. She goes to an auction, she goes to some shops, she has a dinner with some friends, and she goes to bed. And then when she gets up the next day, it's still that day that she just had. I'm only a few pages in. I'm like 30 pages in. So that's what's happening, and she doesn't know why. Time loop. I don't know what's going on or what the point's going to be, but so far I'm very intrigued because it's a second book. It might be a spoiler, so I don't want to look at it, or I don't. It's just here. I don't want to see anything. Okay, the next one is a book I've read before, but I didn't have a copy, my own copy, and I came upon a very nice secondhand copy on eBay, and it's Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. I really want to read this for Shorty September, reread it, put it in my list of rereads for my 60 Before 60 project, because I read it a couple years ago for the first time, and it really stuck with me. I think it was his second novel, and I remember reading when I read it before that the publishers were kind of taken aback because after his first novel, they expected another novel about the experiences of living as a Black person in America in the 1950s. And that's not what this is. This, actually, the main character of this story is a white man, and he's living in Paris. He's kind of perpetually running out of money and trying to get his father to send him some more money. Doesn't want to go back to the U.S. He has this girlfriend. He proposes to her. But while she's out of town, he has a passionate encounter and affair with an Italian bartender named Giovanni. But it's not a happy love story. It's more of a tragic story, and a lot of the tragedy is the consequences of David, the American man, not being able to come to terms with himself, with his identity, with his sexuality. It also has wonderful settings. It's an exquisite little novel, and it just has a lot of power and layers and depth for how slim it is. It's just really a great piece of writing. So I'm so excited to have this really lovely edition of it. It's even pretty on the inside. It has an introduction by Colin Toybeen, one of my favorite people. So, Giovanni's Room. I'm really happy to have a copy. Woo! Okay, I'm getting ready to drop the books. Crisis averted. The next one is a buddy read made me do it. So not long ago, a month or two ago, I don't know, earlier in the summer maybe, my friend Michael and I read Pale Shadows by Dominique Fortier and translated by Rhonda Mullins. And we became aware that Dominique Fortier had written a previous book about Emily Dickinson also, which is Paper Houses. So Pale Shadows was about the women who came together after Emily Dickinson's death and organized her poetry for publication. So Paper Houses takes place when Emily's actually alive. And here's the description. A mythic figure in American letters, Emily Dickinson preferred the company of books and plants to that of people. I can't blame her. She refused to make her poetry public and spent her later years cloistered in her bedroom, leading us to piece together the paper scraps of her work and her life. Yet Dominique Fortier is able to imagine fleeting moments of the elusive poet, quick glimpses before she ducks behind a door or disappears into her garden to show her struggles to reconcile spirit and flesh. Through reflections on language and what it feels like to be home, Paper Houses brings Dickinson vividly to life with whimsy and irreverence, as if reanimating a flower once pressed in the pages of her herbarium. We just instantly knew we would have to read this too. Right now we have it on the schedule for December. I can't remember what the machinations of choosing that month were, but that's what we have planned. If it's like the other book, there's some interesting form breaks where the author enters into the narrative in kind of a fourth wall kind of situation. I know I'm going to love this because I love the other one. The next one is really ugly, and I'm sorry. It's a good quality object, and I need it for something. So please forgive the ugly cover of this edition of The Importance of Being Earnest by Oscar Wilde. It's a play. I'm planning to read it in Victober for Victober and for the Endless Drama Discord that I am running. So I needed a copy. And this one is a school edition. It was at Half Price Books. It's completely, did anybody write in it? I don't know. We're going to find out if somebody wrote in it for class. But the reason why I bought it, it's super sturdy. It's got the school binding. And then inside, it has a nice readable font with very clear character breaks. It's very readable for these aging eyeballs. Some of these old plays are published with the teeniest, tiniest font you ever saw in really close lines. And so they're just hard to deal with. So I bought this for the interior, not the exterior. I did not judge the book by the cover, but what horrible artwork. Oh my gosh, it's really bad. What? Okay, can you see this? What is happening with this lady's hand? This lady looks like she's got a pen in her sandwich. I don't know what is exactly happening there, but it's not good. The penultimate book of this haul is a book of poetry, and this is the selection that was sent to me by my subscription to Deep Vellum Press. Deep Vellum Press is an independent publisher based in Dallas, Texas. They have a number of imprints under their umbrella. They are the leading publisher of translated to English books in the U.S. This book is not translated, but it is this book, Terror Counter by Fargo, Nissim, Tbakhi. Let's see, there's the letter that they sent with this. It says, Fargo Nissim Tbakhi is a Palestinian performance artist and poet. You hold his debut collection in your hands. It is stunning and powerful, never shying away from the harshness of reality while maintaining its tight grip on a relentless hope for humanity. It both celebrates and disrupts poetic form. And flipping through it, I do see different kinds of form play. There's shapes. I guess we have some concrete poems. We have some that look a little more traditional. On the back, let's see. It's a fight for the right to dream of a future, the future that is Palestine. Liberation is love poetry. Bring your heart, dear reader. Bring your crowbar. Interesting. So I am not really reading poetry this month because of the short stories and the 30 stories in 30 days. But when I get back around next month, I will start with this. I'm just going to save it and put it in my October TBR to read the poems and see what I think. And then that brings us to the last one. The last one, not the least one, the most one, if you go by size. This is a book that I have wanted for almost a year. This is the book that goes with a show that I saw at the National Gallery. That's part of the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C. when I went on a trip last year. It was a wonderful show at the National Portrait Gallery, which is now under siege. The director has already, I think she resigned. She didn't choose to bow down to Trump's efforts to squash and extinguish diversity in the museums and mute out entire aspects of American history. This show was really stunning, and I ogled the book at the gift shop at the museum, but it was really expensive. And I've been stalking the book online for a year, and finally I caught it on a sale day and a discount, and I treated myself. Here it is, Brilliant Exiles, American Women in Paris, 1900 to 1939. Juna Barnes and me together. This is so awesome. This is the most beautiful thing, and I'm going to be dipping in and out of this book forever. It's obviously perfect for Framed in September, so I will be sampling it. Oh, I already have sampled some of it. Okay, so look in here. Oh, don't you just love a map? A map of Paris from the 1920s. And the description of this book is as follows. For the American women who made Paris their home during the early decades of the 20th century, the city offered unique opportunities for personal emancipation and professional innovation. While living as expatriates in the international center of all things avant-garde, these women escaped the constraints that limited them at home and enjoyed unprecedented freedom and autonomy. Through portraiture, this volume illuminates the histories of nearly 60 convention-defying women who contributed to the vibrant modernist milieu of Paris, including Berenice Abbott, Josephine Baker, Romaine Brooks, Zelda Fitzgerald, Peggy Guggenheim, and Gertrude Stein. Da-dee-dee-dee-dee-da, there's more. It is really beautiful. Oh, I mean, look at the back. Oh, here she is. Well, she's kind of stuck in the fold. The Picasso Gertrude Stein picture. I don't like how they stuck her in the fold. Oh, here she is. Never mind. Here's the whole thing. I was reading the short story by Kay Boyle that was in the 30 Stories in 30 Days. I thought, oh, I bet she's in here. And she is. Yes, here she is. So I'm going to read about that and everybody else. But this is just the most fabulous treasure trove. I'm so excited that I finally have it. And the price was about a third of what it started out. So that worked out really well, and a very rare episode of me exercising patience and restraint. So that is my haul. That is my bounty. Let me know what you think of these books, these authors. I hope that you are having a great week, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.